Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So today school is in session. We are going to talk about three marking, two marking, one marking, whatever. Just marks of excellence on your barrel. Um, Everybody has different views of people that have those marks on their barrel, be it they're a great player, very experienced in that particular tank, or they're an asshole because they don't care about their team. They care about one thing, and that's doing damage, and they don't care about anybody else, and screw everybody, and blah, blah, blah. Well, there's myths to some of that and truths. I mean, you've all been in matches where you'll see somebody that's a Super Unicom sitting on the red line, and he's back there just sniping like a bitch, trying to get damage to, get his Mark of Excellence moved up or whatnot. And that, in a way, uh, that's more selfish than anything, because to be honest with you, the person that is red line sniping, chai sniping, whatever you want to call it, they're the person that's going to have a more difficult time three marking or two marking whatever a tank because just doing damage isn't enough to three mark a tank. You need to do damage. You need assisted damage. You need spotting. You need everything you can to get that number up because basically you get your first mark at 65%, and it's not that doesn't mean you're going to run out and do a match and you're going to be, let's say, 67%, and that means you did better than 67% of the players and you're going to get a mark of excellence. No, you build up and you get like points, a percentage that starts adding up. And then once you get a certain amount, then you'll get that mark at 65%. But you've got to play better than 65% of the players consistently over an average amount of games. And then once you do that, you'll get that mark. And then your next mark is at 85%, which is obviously a lot harder to do because now you have to be 85% better than all the other players that are playing the game, and then 95% for your last mark, which the third mark on any tank is super hard to get. I don't care if it's got to be a tier 5 or higher. So I don't care if it's a tier 5 or a tier 10. To three mark any tank, it does take skill, it takes consistency. You can't take, let's say you pick, just for instance, the Type 62. You want to three mark that tank. So you can't just play it once a day and think I mean, you'll eventually three mark it doing that, but you're looking at probably years down the road. I've three marked a couple tanks, and the quickest I've done it, I think, was right around 80. It's about 80 battles or less, maybe 75, 80 battles to three mark a tank. Um, but like for instance on the IS-7, I've had this thing forever. I've got a lot of matches in it, but they didn't count any of the matches that you had previous to them adding the mark of excellence to the barrels. So if you had 20,000 matches in your IS-7 and then they implemented the mark of excellence for the barrels, you didn't get credit for any of those other battles you had previous, only the ones you got after that. So a lot of times somebody will be like, oh, why did it take you 700 or 1,000 matches to three mark or get a mark on your tank? Well, it's like my E100. I've got almost 1,000 matches in that, but they didn't start doing the mark of excellence till I already had, you know, 850 battles in it or whatever. I'm just throwing some numbers out there, but I think you understand what I'm saying. But so I'm going to show you, just for instance, it does kind of boil down to if you're playing a tank that a lot more people play or don't play, if the tank is played by people that aren't that good, it's easier to get your mark up because you got to remember when you're going for a mark of excellence, you're basically competing with 65% of the people that are out there, then 85%, then 95%. So if 85% of the people are doing 300 damage and you can consistently go out there and do 1,000 damage, you're going to be able to 3-mark that tank pretty quick. Where, let me think here. I'm trying to give some pointers here so that it can kind of make sense, and because it can be confusing. Well, just like for instance, when you go out, if you have spotting damage, and you have actual damage from you, let's say knocking a track off, they only use one or the other, and they take the highest amount. So if you do, let's say 1,000 in assisted damage from knocking somebody's track off, and then you do 300 in spotting damage because you lit up some tanks and they got hit because you spotted them, they take the higher number and they only use that one. So you'd get the 1,000 for knocking the track off somebody and them getting hit. Your assisted damage in that. You won't get the 300 damage for spotting those other tanks and them getting damage off that. They take one of the two, and it's whichever one is higher. And they don't add them up. They don't take the 1,000 and the 300 and give you 1,300. No, it's either or. Whichever one's higher is the one they use. So if you go out to, let's say you think you're in your bat chat and you want to try getting a bunch of spotting damage, then strictly try just getting spotting damage. Because if you get, let's say you're watching and then you see them rounds flying, and all of a sudden you're watching your spotting damage go up and you're up to 2,000 spotting damage, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can finish that tank off. Don't pull the trigger, because it's not going to do you any good to hit that tank and knock his track off and get assisted damage that way, because you're getting the spotting damage, and that's, let's say, is going to be your higher number in the end, so that's the one they're going to use. Whereas if you're in an area and you can consistently keep tracking somebody and knocking their track off, and you're up to 2,000 in assisted damage from tracking people consistently, you held a Moss there, and all 3,000 of his hit points got chewed up because you consistently just kept him tracked, well, then obviously they're going to use that number over the 200 you did for spotting the Moss to begin with. So there's some things that you really want to look forward, or look to do when you're out there. Uh, Doing damage is definitely something you want to do. You want to get a lot of damage. You want to be consistent. You don't, you don't want to, like I said, when you want to 3-mark a tank, you don't want to take it out once a day. You really want to try and take it out as much as you can. Um, don't overdo it. If you get to the point where you're taking it out and you're, let's say you get your first mark and you're working on your second mark, and so you've already got that 65%. Now you got to start doing better than 85% of the players, but you were consistently doing, let's say, 1,200 damage match after match after match, and 1,200 damage was what got you that 65% consistency to get that mark, to get that first mark. Now, 1,200 damage per match isn't going to do it to get you bumped up to get that second mark. Now, you got to do better than 85% of the people playing that same tank. So you got to really bring your A game and get your damage up higher. So instead of doing 1,200, you're going to want to try doing, 2,200 or 2,500 damage every match. And when you're up to the 95, going for that third mark at 95%, I mean, you're looking at 4,000 or 5,000 damage consistently every match. And if you go out and you play your tank 10 times and you have a good match, and then a bad match, one thing I do suggest is don't keep looking at your mark of excellence. Look at the very beginning when you start. Let's say you plan on running your T110E5 20 times today to work on your mark of excellence. Check it when you start and check it when you're done. You might mark it, get a second mark or your third mark in between there, but if you keep looking at it, you might get to where you're 0.1% and be like, oh shit, 0.1%, yeah, and get out there and just get flipping wrecked, and your team gets rolled 15 to 0, and and then you go and look, and now you're 1.5% back, and then you start getting pissed and you start playing bad. And so I always suggest don't look when you start and look where you're at when you're done. Maybe you'll mark it in between, but if not, don't keep peeking because that's just it can screw it up for you. Um, and you want to play several matches in it, and a lot of them. Like I said, you're not gonna three mark a tank very fast if you're only playing it once a day or once every other day. When you want to, one mark, two mark, or three mark a tank, one mark isn't really too hard. I mean, you just got to be 65% better than most players, and most players average 65% is not really that hard. Certain tanks are easier to mark than others because, like if you get a Clan War reward tank, top skill people are going to get your 260, your 279E, or your Object 907, your VK72-1K. You're looking at Clan War reward tanks. They're harder to mark because you got higher skilled people playing those because they're Clan War reward tanks. So those are going to be harder to mark. Where if you take a tank that no one ever plays, I'm just trying. Like for instance, when I three marked my 400.01P, I think it's a tier 6. When I three marked that one, a lot of people I don't think were really playing it, so it wasn't really too hard to three mark. I think that's when I was telling you I did in like 80 matches. But anyways, just to kind of give you an idea, so I'm going for the first mark on my IS-7. Even though I've got a lot of matches in it, I finally figured, I'm getting kind of close. I'm just going to go ahead and get the first mark on it. Once I get that first mark, I'm gonna set my butt down and I'm gonna work on getting the second and third mark on it. So I had a match in this and I did 3,443 damage. It was a Master Badge Class 3. It got a Fire for Effect, Hand of God, Bruiser, a Spartan. My assisted damage was only 694, and I believe that was from me tracking somebody and they got hit. That was like in one shot, I believe. Um, so I didn't get a lot of assisted damage. I did an alright amount of damage. We hit the enemy IS-7 twice for 1,017. Knocked out his engine because one of the shots I got was in his keister. We did, in spotting too. Like I spotted the IS-7 originally, the 277, the T110E4. This stuff adds up, and your assisted damage and stuff like that. But like I said, you got to remember they only take one of the two, and it's always the higher one. If it's the tracking damage or the spotting damage, they take the higher of the two. I don't know how they mark it if you originally spot somebody. I imagine that equation is worked in there with that too. But anyways, so the Object 277, we hit him one time for 474. And you'll always see that I like to go for tracks because I like to get that assisted damage. If I track somebody and then they get hit for 1,000 damage, then I'm getting that assisted damage. So you'll see a lot of times I always have knocked out tracks on the enemies because I always aim for their tracks if I can. But we knocked out his track, bounced one of his rounds, and my mouse just fried or stopped for a minute there. And damage upon me spotting him was for 167. T110E4, we hit him for 431, and again knocked out his track, and he got hit for 527 upon us destroying his track, and we originally spotted him. The T10, we hit him 2 times for 1,004, and knocked out his ammo rack, his observation device, and we bounced 3 of his rounds. And the T49, we hit him for 517 and knocked out his track. So I knocked out the track on almost every one of these tanks that I shot at because I purposely go for their tracks too. And the point I'm going to try making here, and I'll show you in a minute, is this at 3,443 damage, I went up 0.87, almost close to 1%. But for that amount of damage, you would be like, it seemed like you'd get, it'd be higher than that. But it's the first mark, and so that's telling me that when I go for the second mark, I'm going to have to consistently do like 4,000 or more damage to get that second mark. And for the third mark, you're looking at close to 5,000 damage every match consistently to get that third mark. So it can be pretty tough. When you see somebody that's got a 3 mark on their tank, they work their butt off to get it probably. We did second most damage at 3,443, and our base experience was 840. We had 11 shots, 10 hits, 7 pen for 3443 damage. We got hit 9 times, 4 pen, 4 bounce, and we got hit with some splash damage. Our armor blocked 1370, spotted 3, damage 5, destroyed 0, and damage with our assistance was 694. I lost a bunch of credits because I had it set up for Clan Wars, and I completely forgot to take all my premium rounds out and split it up. When it's a pub match, I like to take kind of 50-50 between the standard and the premium, and then I take a couple HE rounds. So that was 0.87% up on my mark of excellence for the first mark. See, I'm at 63.84. So getting real close to that 64 and then 65. So hopefully 1 or 2 really, really good matches, and I can get my first mark in that one. Now I'm going to show you another tank that I thought, I haven't played this tank in forever. I want to to show you guys, because you don't see a lot of them out in the battlefield. It's a lower tiered tank. It is a tier 7, and I wanted to see what happened if I went out and had a pretty good match in that, what the difference is between this IS-7 that a lot of people play, and a lot of better people play it, and it's harder to do damage because you're higher tier and blah, 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 so on and so forth. So I played the T20, I think it was. Yeah, T20. Now, I did 2,000 damage, well, 1,999, basically 2,000. Had 825 assisted damage, and if you look at the WN8 for the match, this one was 2,369, and this one was 4,549, with about 1,000 less damage, 1,500, almost 1,500 less damage. But look at the mark of excellence. This went up plus 7.85%, almost 8% in one match versus not even 1% in one match, because the T20, not as many people play it. The amount of damage people do in it isn't as much, so you're not expected to do a high number of damage to get a decent result for your mark of excellence. And so one match where I did 2,000 damage and it went up almost 8%. On this one, that was a Master Badge Class 2, a Reaper, Duelist, Fire for Effect, I think. Yeah, Fire for Effect, Bruiser. We hit the King Tiger C twice for 363, finished him off, and knocked out his engine, bounced one of his rounds, and 341 damage upon a spot, and we originally spotted him too. Tiger 1, we hit him 3 times for 627, finished him off. KV-13 hit him twice for 440. Knocked out his commander and bounced one of his rounds for 115. The T-34-100, he come flying over the hill, and I think he was just pissed that I was doing good at the position I was in. He wanted to just take me out. He come flying up over the hill. I knocked his track off, and he got hit for 401 upon me taking his track off, and he just got pretty well decimated. The OI, we hit him 1 time for 241. Cromwell, we spotted him. He got hit for 83. And the Achilles, we hit him twice for 328. Finished him off. Bounced one of his rounds for 110. We did second most damage at 1,999. 3 kills, base experience of 884. Had 16 shots, 12 hit, 10 pen for, I'm just going to say 2,000 damage. And from a distance of more than 300 meters, 681. We got hit 9 times, 6 pen, 3 bounce for 465 damage bounced. Spotted 2, damaged 6, destroyed 3. Damage with our assistance was 825. And I did lose a bunch of credits because being that I played the IS-7 with full premium, I also played this one with full premium too. Just for the simple fact that if you're going for a mark, a lot of times if you're getting hit consistently over and over by premium rounds from somebody from the enemy team, a lot of times it's not because they're just slinging it because they want to. It's probably because they might be going for a mark of excellence, because like if I got a tank that has AP rounds and heat rounds, I usually take like a 50-50 loadout due to the fact that heat is good in certain circumstances, but it sucks on certain circumstances like tracks. Tracks eat them if there's a lot of fence posts. And if the tank has heat as a premium round, I usually do 50-50. If it's APCR as their premium round, a lot of times I'll do like 75-25. I'll take 75% premium and 25% standard in a couple HE rounds. And if it's that if that's if I'm trying to 3 mark something or 2 mark or 1 mark or whatever. If I'm just playing it for the heck of it, I usually just do like a 50-50 loadout or whatever. But so this one you can see 0.87 in that match, and this one 7.85, almost 8% in one match on that. So I hope that helps you kind of look and figure out. I'm going to go ahead and play both these matches so you can watch them. Um, but I hope that kind of helps you in a way for pointers towards how to get a mark of excellence. And once you get that mark, it doesn't get taken away. So once you hit 65%, then you're like, okay, I just want a 1 mark every one of my tanks. Once you hit that 65%, you can stop playing that tank forever. It's not your mark of excellence. You'll never lose that mark, but the percentage will go down. Like, for instance, let's go to my E100 just to show you. I've got my 1 mark on that, but it's probably under 65% now. Well, it's at 68.7. Trying to think of one that I've got a mark on that might be. Oh, I've got so many freaking tanks, it's hard to tell. Well, just to let you know, so basically, like me 100, I've got that 1 marked, and I'm at 68.76%. If I played it right now, that might go down to 64% because I haven't played it in like a week or something, let's say. But I'm not going to lose this mark here, but this here will go down. It might go down to 64, 65, 63. Maybe it'll go down to 68.72. It just depends on how all the other people that are playing it are doing uh, at this time in that particular tank. So if you want to hold on for a minute, I'm going to go ahead and I'll play the IS-7 and the T-20 match so you can kind of watch, and maybe it'll give you some pointers on where to go in those tanks or that map. So going to hold on. I will be right back. Alrighty, so here we are in the IS-7 on Serene Coast. I've had hundreds and hundreds, I mean thousands of matches in these maps, and I always consistently forget the name of the darn maps. A couple of them I always remember, but most of them I always forget. So anyways, we're in an IS-7. Where do you want to go on this map? Would you go hill? Would you go center? Or will you go to the left over by the water? I like to go to the left by the water. The thing that you have problem-wise that you can run into if you go by the water is when you get over there, a lot of your tank destroyers will set back here and just sling round after round at you. They won't get spotted, and that's kind of what happens in a little bit here. I try not to run over stuff if I can help it, due to the fact that when there's especially 2 artilleries, if they're looking, they can see fence posts breaking and get shots off on you. And also, I like to keep my gun pointed in the direction that tanks might pop out because of the fact that I don't want to have to turn my turret. It takes 3 seconds to get it turned over to the right, let's say. I don't want to have to crank it all the way over one way. If I've got the gun already pointing that direction, somebody pops out, then boom, I can probably snapshot them. I don't know if I want it that big or that. I guess I'll leave it that big. If that's too big, let me know, guys. So, bam. Just to pause it real quick. STRV S1 or whatever hit me from back here. So, needless to say, he's sitting right in here. I can almost guarantee it. I actually take a blind shot in a while, but my concern right now is to push up into here so I've got cover from that area, but there's a T10 right there and IS-7 right there, so I need to watch it because I don't want to stick myself in a situation where the T10 can out DPM me. I'll out damage him, but I think his reload is faster than mine, so he might be able to take me out before I can take him out, so on and so forth. But one of the things that you really got to look when you're trying to mark a tank is you want to be in the match. You don't want to lose all your hit points, and you'll see, unfortunately, I lose a huge chunk of my hit points because I overextended myself. These guys are all sitting back there. They see me pushing forward, and the STB is over here. So him and myself push forward, and these guys, for whatever reason, figure they're just going to sit back there and I don't know, not help. And it's like if you're ever in that situation and you're in one of these tanks, you see your team pushing forward, especially when you got two top tiers, heavy tanks pushing forward, push with them. I mean, my God, push with them so that they have some assistance. I think they eventually do, but I end up losing a lot of health because I didn't have help, and the T10's able just to keep pulling forward and taking shots at me. The IS-7 could just roll over and take shots at me. So if you ever see your tanks pushing forward, push with them. So anyways, I come up here and I figure I'm gonna go ahead and get me a nice shot into this T10, and I hit him for 509. He hits me for 422. So like I said, now I'm safe in this area from back here. I'm not already safe. Artie can still lob rounds right in my side right there. But if I'm right here, he can't. But I've got that T10 right there. So what I'm hoping is that our artillery will start trying to get shots on this T10 because I've played already on this map enough to know you can actually hit these guys right here. So I'm going to try keeping him lit and try and keep myself already safe from the enemy team, but also I want to keep getting shots at this guy. So I hit him in his upper plate and it bounces, and I saw that T110E4 and a 277, but did you notice I started backing up as fast as I could when I saw all these guys moving forward, and also on that T110E4 I purposely took his track off because now one of their big guns is sitting there with his butt out in the wind, and he's going to waste a repair kit in order to get out of there. We do get hit by the 277 for 503. We did hit the T110E4 for 431, and he got hit for 527 with me tracking him, and I think somebody else hits him here in a second. I'm going to keep it in this view. Right there, I lost a lot of freaking health. Hit me with a premium round. You can always tell with a premium rounds it makes that weird sound, but right there. So I think that was the one that hit me there. No. He might have hit me right here. I imagine it was because you can see the difference in the hole caliber size. Small hole, big hole. But anyways, yeah, I heard that thump, and I'm like, oh, there goes a lot of my health. So I just lost 748. I'm down to 356 health, and I've done a whopping 940 damage. So, what do you do when that happens when you're trying to get a mark on a tank? You're already down to I'm a one shot for basically almost every enemy on the enemy tank on the enemy team, and I'm still basically in a bad spot. I got my butt out in the wind. Do I keep backing up to try getting back here, or do I stop and try using this rock? Okay, I was thinking about backing up, and then I saw the Type 4 heavy there, and I'm thinking, if he's there, if he's moving forward, I might be able to get behind him and use him as armor, but the likelihood is that 277 is going to get another shot off at me, or the E4 might get another shot off on me before I can get backed up enough. So I push forward and use this rock. So I'm not 100% haul down, but haul down enough where they're not going to get shots at anything but my turret. Now, the only thing I really got to worry about is artillery. And like I said, I've only done 940 damage. If I die right now, my mark of excellence is going to go backwards. It's not going to go forward because I'm almost at 65%, but 940 damage is not going to be better than 65% of the players. It might be better than 20% of the players or 25% of the players, but it's going to go backwards. So I'm going to lose points and when I want to go forward points for the Mark of Excellence. So basically, I'm just trying to side scrape, and watch this. I hit him in a weak spot, well, not a weak spot, but with a APCR round in his side, and he bounces. He actually bounces like 2 shots. Another one, watch this, in his side. Boom, because it's spaced armor right there. It hit them, and then Artie hits me, so now I'm a one-shot literally for everything. I've got 77 hit points left. Somebody farts near me, I'm dead. And I'm thinking, okay, now I definitely got to get out of here. Because if somebody hits me with an HE round, which if I were this T110, or this 110 right here, I would have loaded an HE round, or anybody. If they would have hit me with an HE round, it's going to do probably 77 hit points of damage, even in my turret. But they keep shooting me with AP rounds and heat rounds and APCR rounds. No one shot me with an HE round, which would have killed me. Watch this. So right now I'm thinking I need to get the hell out of here, and I need to get the hell out of here quick. I was waiting for an arty round. Literally, I was waiting for an artillery round to... Now I'm hull down, and we hit him for a nice chunk. His round, it was another heat round, and it bounced. And you can see, he hit me in the turret right there. Another round right there. Another round right here. Another round right here. Whoops, another one right here too. So I'm bouncing heat rounds and premium rounds like a boss. So now we're up to 1,909 damage from 900 damage. So we're still not in the... Right now I might break even or get maybe 0.05%. So not even like a tenth of a percent basically. But it would still go up at that much damage, but I need to get more damage. I've got 77 hit points, so they've still got a good chunk of people on their team, and we do too, and I need to play super safe and really try and stay arty safe. So this tank, if you can get hauled down or side scrape, that's your best bet. So right now, I'm just... See, arty, I think, was trying to take a shot at me, but where I'm at, this position is really hard to hit from, unless it's a Conqueror gun carriage, it's hard to arc it over that hill right there. So I knew I was pretty safe there. I'm thinking this is probably where the STRV is up in there, so I took a blind shot. I don't think I end up hitting anybody up there, but if he was up there, at least he might think, oh, I'm spotted. If he doesn't have 6th sense, let's say, he might be trying to get the hell out of Dodge thinking he's spotted. So what is happening here is I saw our Object 263 up here. He's trying to get some shots on these guys, and I thought, hey, this is perfect. I'm going to go up there and try and assist him. But I need to be careful not to get my butt out in the wind, because if a tank is behind that Object 263, they're just going to chew him up and spit him out, because obviously they'll be getting shots on his rear. So that IS-7 is keeping his turret towards the other guy, so I'm just gonna basically get some free farming damage here. He's safe from most of the guys, but he's not safe from me. We're able to put another shot right in his pooper right before he gets over the hill, so he's down to 221 health. He's a one shot. I'm just trying to stay basically unspotted, and there's that STRV 1030. So I don't know, maybe he might have wised up that we were pushing this area and we were winning to get out of there, or maybe it could have very well been the shot that I took. It scared him off. Who knows? So right now, I'm just looking to stay in the game so that I got my gun in the game and I can still do some damage. Once you're knocked out, you're not doing damage. Your Mark of Excellence is stopped at that point. Working towards your Mark of Excellence in that match is now done once you're dead. So I've got 77 hit points of damage left on me. Anybody and everybody that hits me could kill me easily. So what I need to do is try doing some more damage, but I need to stay safe so that I don't get killed, so I can keep doing damage, because they still got a lot of people in their team. So I see this T-49, and I think he's going to come flying up over there. He smashes into our T-49. And we're able to take him down to 8 hit points. He does take out our T-49, but I need to back up, because if he's got the derp gun on there, which he just one-shot our T-49, basically with 77 hit points, he's going to knock me out. And if he one-shot RT-49 for the amount of health he had, he's got to have the derp gun. He's got a long reload, so I knew I was safe, that he wasn't probably going to shoot at me, but I'm playing it like super, super duper safe right now to keep my gun in the game and keep trying to be able to do damage if I get any more shots that present themselves to me. So they're down to the artillery and what is it, a Progetto or something over there? Oh, AMX-30. So I know I'm not going to get any more damage probably. I'm going to head that way. If I'm lucky, I might, but more than likely, I'm probably not going to get any more damage. So nope. So 3443 in damage. I don't think I got any blind shots, but that's what you need to do to try working towards getting a mark of excellence. You need to keep that gun in the game, because if I would have been knocked out over here after doing 940 damage, I definitely wouldn't have been moved up towards my mark of excellence. It would have went backwards away from the mark of excellence, because I would have lost points versus going forward, any percentage. So if you want to hold on for a minute, I got another match in the T21 where I went up almost 8% towards that mark of excellence. So I'll be right back with that match for you. Alrighty, so here we are in the T20 on steps, and we are top tier, tier 7 in a tier 6 match. So it's not like we're a tier 7 and a tier 5 match, but what I like to do, just real quick, what I like to do on this map really varies on what kind of tank I'm in. If I'm in a TD on this side, I'll stay up in these bushes and try getting shots at anybody crossing the field over here, or anybody trying to get over here real quick to get lights. If I'm in a heavy tank, a lot of times I'll go this way, or a super heavy, I'll go that way. If I'm in a medium tank, normally I will go this way. And this is a medium tank, so I decided I am going to go this way, to the west. Well, east on the map view here, but west to me. Now the T20, it's got an alright gun, but I think it's 160 standard. 160 standard penetration, and your premium is 243. I'm looking at the enemy lineup, and they got the M445, which has actually got decent armor. It's like a 100mm turret, and I think the hull is like 90mm or something. It might be more than that. 100, give or take, in the front. King Tiger C, great armor. Tiger 100 on the hull, I think is all the way around 80 on the turret, or vice versa. Might be 100 on the turret. But anyways, what I like to do when I'm on this side in a medium, I push as fast and hard as I can, but you'll notice I'm staying on these hills because these guys are back here, but they're kind of a ways back there. I do have the 3485M coming up this way, but if I need to stop real quick, there's enough of indent here, and back here is enough indent that you can stop and back up a little bit and you're pretty safe. Once you get past this point right here, there's just the point of no return up to here, and if somebody was sneaky and got up in there, they can really mess your day up bad. And then once you get past this point, the point of no return is up into this area right here where you want to be hauled down and get shots at anything that's going to be over in here. And that's what I'm aiming for, is up here. The further you can get pushed forward, the further back the enemy is, the better off you are, because then they're not right on your door, basically on your doorstep, knocking on your cap going, we're right here. The problem that you can run into is a lot of times somebody will be sitting here, up in here, over here, up there, and if you get spotted, you can get drilled. This is kind of a low point here, so as long as they're not in this area right in here, you're pretty safe. But if you come this way and all of a sudden 2 or 3 tanks are sitting right here, yeah, you're dead. But if you get up like I did, lucky enough to where I can get up in this area, that's where you want to aim for. So basically it looked like they really didn't have much of anybody come this way. And then there's a Tiger 1, KV-13 back there, Achilles, Tiger C gets lit up here in a minute. Now, I left it on premium rounds, and the reason I did that is because, one, I played the IS-7 first, and I played that strictly with premium. So I figured just to make it equal to where I had a better chance of penetrating, just like I did in the IS-7. I played this one with premium rounds because, like the Tiger one, a couple of the tanks, 160 pen on the Tiger one on the side of the turret, probably would have went through, but I wanted to make sure it did go through. Because when you're working on a mark of excellence, you really want to make sure those shots penetrate because you don't want to roll up there and get hit for 400 and take a shot and do nothing because your round bounced. Every time you pull out, you're risking losing health. So you want to make that return good for you. So that means if you got to shoot premium, well, you're going to have to shoot premium to make sure you're doing that damage. Now, with what they had coming this way, they've got some pretty good heavies. It's their top tiered heavies, and I believe that AMX M4 comes over this way also, I think. But so I'll get back to the replay here. See another side shot there in the Tiger one. Probably, like I said, a standard round probably would have went through. But like the King Tiger there, I shot right at his turret and no luck. And I got hit, but it did bounce. Now right there, that's what you call a very unfair trade. That's what you don't want to happen. I just got hit by a whole bunch of stuff, and I lost over half my health. So I hit the KV, or excuse me, the KV-13 hit me for 111, him back there. King Tiger hit me, knocked my track off, which in turn then I got hit by the Tiger 1. And so I lost, say, 2, 4, 5, 6, about 600 and some health within seconds. And that's what I mean by you got to be careful because if you overextend yourself, that can happen. Now, 495 health. You hit by a couple of those heavies, that's pretty much your rest of your health. So I figured, okay, I backed down. I did my job. I've got him backing up. I'm going to back down and try getting a better position here. Every time I'd pull up, that darn KV-13 would disappear. Now here comes this T-34-100. He's coming at me like he's going to ram me. I take his track off. He's going to try getting a shot at me, but he gets melted. So that's why when you got this many people sitting behind you, if somebody tries YOLOing you like that, it's always a good thing that you got that many tanks behind you. And he just got literally melted when he came over that hill. So kudos to the team for keeping my butt in the game, because if he would have come over that hill and I didn't track him, he probably would have rammed me and done a lot of damage to me. That darn KV-13. Every time I turn around, he would just get backed out or go invisible. So I thought, I'm going to kind of work on him for a minute. Let him know that he is not forgotten. Took a blind shot into the tank destroyer there, the Achilles, and finished him off. You can see this is the King Tiger C. We hit him, lower plate, finish him off. And the Tiger 1. Hit him and finish him off. So we just got 3 kills, one right after another. The KV-13's coming this way. Put another round into him. Now I'm trying to watch out because there's a 59-16 over there. And I don't know where a lot of their tanks are because we've taken out most of their big heavy tanks. But if you look at their mediums and their tank destroyers, where are they at? They got a KV-2 here, 3485, and a Cromwell 59-16, which we know he's over here. Right here, and the KV-13's right there. So where the hell's the rest of their team? I'm guessing they're up here. They're along that ridge line. A bunch of mediums that basically this is probably why their team lost, because if their mediums would have came over here, we wouldn't be rolling up here with 3/4 of our team. Seriously. I mean, their team basically lost it for them by no mediums coming this way and getting a foothold in this area to hold us back. Once your mediums and heavies are in this area and they're hauled down getting shots left and right at the enemy team, basically it's done. It's a done deal. Now, if they would have pushed all their mediums would have pushed this way, they could have got on our cap. But I'm kind of watching that. I still got half my health, but I get up here in a minute and I make a little bit of a mistake because with half their team not spotted, I was a little overconfident and I pay for it. So there was their Cromwell. He's beelining, trying to get out of there. The accuracy on this gun is not really anything to write home about. And so I just got hit by a 3485M. So basically, one of the best tanks that for that tier is sitting back here somewhere hiding. That's what I mean. If that 3485M, their Cromwell, if half their tanks would have came this way, it might have been a different ball game. It all boils down on a win or a loss. 3485M hits me again. Yeah, it all boils down on a win or a loss to what your team does. If they sit back and want to, chai snipe in the back of the map, more than likely they're going to lose. So right now, I'm down to 154 health, so pretty much a one shot. Just trying to see if I can get lucky and maybe get a shot off here or there. I'm using the bushes to my advantage now. Unfortunately, my shooting is not the best in the world. The crew in this tank isn't super good. I mean, they're one crew skill. So now I'm down to 4 hit points. Cromwell hits me, and so I'm backing up. I've got 4 hit points. Kind of looks like the IS-7 game. When I play, it doesn't matter what I'm in, I usually play pretty aggressively. But that's how you get marks of excellence. That's how you get damage. It's also how you get killed too. But so now what I'm looking at is these guys right here. We've got one Hellcat and a T-50-2 that's over there. There's a T-50-2 and the Hellcat's over here. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and sneak back towards the base in case these guys roll over a Hellcat. I'll be already set up back here somewhere to get shots at them on our cap. So with all 4 hit points, I need to get out of here without getting shot by that Cromwell. So I'm just kind of sitting here, just waiting to go invisible. And I figure, okay, I've got to be invisible by now. Then the 3485M lights up. They must have had some good positions up there behind the rocks because I just had no luck getting any shots at them up there. So pretty much these guys are still kind of rolling forward towards our cap. The OI looked like he might have been coming back to their base, but I figured I'm going to play it safe. I've already done a pretty good amount of damage. I think I've got maybe a blind shot in there of damage, but I just don't want to lose to us getting capped out. So that's why I'm beelining it back towards our cap in case the KV takes out our Hellcat. And the OI looks like he might be going back to work on their cap. But yeah, somebody even said watch the back end, folks, and I think I said affirmative here in a minute. I just want to make sure that we don't get capped out. Nothing's worse than having a blowout win like this many tanks compared to 2, and then they get onto your cap and they win by capping out. The cornhole. So I see the KV-2. Oh, he's sitting down low. I can't get any shots on him. But he gets taken out, and then all they got left is the OI, so I figure I'm going to push in, see if I can possibly get some more damage in here. He's coming up on a decent angle where I'm hoping I can hit him. Slow aim time, but we get a shot into him and got another shot of damage for 1931. So, ended up being 1999, so the where I hit that Achilles, that damage didn't show up here, obviously, but we killed him, and that was the difference in the 1999 hit points of damage. So, anyways, yeah, so I hope that kind of showed you, kind of how you really want to work if you're working on towards getting any marks of excellence for your tanks. Maybe they'll give you some pointers on what to do to get marks on them quicker. Because let me tell you, when I'm in a game, when I see an enemy that's got 2 or 3 marks, if they got 1, you play a tank enough, you're going to get 1 mark, pretty much. But when you see 2 and 3 marks, you know they work their butts off for 2 and 3 marks. So, yeah, when you see 3 marks on somebody's barrel, they know what they're doing in that tank. They're a good player probably. So you really need to watch what they're doing. It's kind of a forewarning, let's say, a foreboding. 3 mark, stay away. But anyways, yeah, I hope that helped you out. If it did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.